Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode with Sayed Fadel El Sayed. We're doing another one, Coffee with the Sayed, and we have a special guest from Wollongong. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidna.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah khairah jaza for coming
Habibi
to
Sayyidna.
our humble abode here.
Thank you very much
at
for the
Al-Wasi
invitation.
TV.
It's an
You're
honor.
our third guest for Coffee
Thank you
with the
very
Sayyid.
much.
So far, the ones that we brought in, they didn't have any relationship with coffee.
No, well, there's got to be something wrong with them, man. As they said, like, as they would say in Australian accent, there's two kangaroos short in the back paddock. That means they're not all there.
They're not all
No.
there. So how was your relationship with coffee?
I honestly love coffee. I love coffee, but I had like too much of a love of a coffee because, I was having at least maybe 4 or 5 coffees a day. And the factor was I wouldn't have coffee like your normal, Nescafe coffee they have at home with the tins and all that stuff. I wanted like barista coffee, So I would go from place to place because I lived in Wollongong, I still do. And I checked out places and I would rate them and depending on the quality.
So you can say you're hardcore.
I was hardcore,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the factor was what happened is every time Shahar Ramadan would come, I regretted it because of it was like I said, stuck for like a drug addict. Like I was getting these massive headaches, but at first I didn't know why. And then I figured out it was the coffee because I would break my fast and I need something that had caffeine in it, and then the headache would go away. But it just took a lot out of me and had an effect on my trying to get spiritually motivated in that month. So I started cutting back, and then I didn't say stop, but now I'll have a coffee like maybe once every 2 or 3 days only because I'm worried that I'll get back into this addiction because the smell of coffee.
Yeah, it's
I can't imagine the weight of smelling of coffee when it's in heaven. Imagine the coffee in heaven.
Yeah, we just made coffee beforehand. I make my own coffee. I have machines everywhere, and you can tell the smell is everywhere. Yeah, and the shabab told me, "Would you drink coffee at this time of the night?" I said, "Yeah," and I go to sleep, not like a baby because a baby always cries when they. No, very comfortably I go back. So, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite like a cappuccino, a double latte, or whatever they have?
Look, I like my caps. I like my cappuccinos. How I used to tell the people that made it, I would tell them that it had to be double shot, extra hot, and nice, not so much milk. When they add too much milk, it kills the taste of the coffee. And of course, you can't have coffee without. You got to have coffee without sugar. Those people that have coffee and then add sugar, you kill the whole taste of the aroma of the coffee.
You're ruining the whole experience. So you mentioned in Wollongong, you rated a couple of places. Which one is the best?
Yeah, there was
a shout out for them. I don't know
there
if
was
sponsor the channel.
Look, there was a place there. I don't know whether I think it might be even Australian coffee. It's called Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Victoria coffee. That's one of them.
Yeah.
And there was another coffee that Campus, is it? Campus Coffee. And there was another one with Tom. But I can't remember the exact name of them, but the shops, those shops, one of them was a Greek shop. I remember it was up in West Wollongong. I actually forgot the name of it because it's been that long. But I knew that they had this particular coffee. And it was a Victoria coffee. But it's funny because other people would have the same Victoria coffee, but when they used to brew it, it never came out as nice. But for some reason, this Greek lady, and of course Greeks are probably like us as well, like the Mediterranean, they love their coffees. And also I remember my best friend was Italian.
No.
So that's another thing why, and the Italians like their, the espresso coffee, the shots.
Yes.
Yeah, but as well, I remember my friend Sergio, his mum used to always, whenever I come over, the first thing she says, "You want a coffee?" I said, "Of course, Mrs. De Francesco. I'd love a coffee."
A friend of mine is Italian, Alex Di Pranzio.
Yeah.
And every time I go to his office for a meeting, and he knows that I'm coming, he makes this, like you mentioned, this espresso ones, the small ones.
Yeah.
And they're very, very, very focused on their coffee. So they're not like these people, okay, add some milk. They don't like that.
No.
They don't like, they want it straight shots, and they want it all black, and of course no sugar, and you have it. We have different, of course, different ways everyone does it differently. You remember the days we used to have coffee with Kit Kat?
Yeah.
Don't have it with sugar, but have it with Kit Kat.
Yeah.
The one that we have at 7-Eleven, the $1.50 coffee, $2, $3 coffee. But even that is good because they do have good beans. I've seen it, what the beans they brought at 7-Eleven, they're very good. I tried a couple of places overseas in England. Yeah, that wasn't good, brothers. You have to make it better.
You know, since you brought that up as well, you know, we're lucky in Australia, believe it or not, in Australia, we have very good coffee. Like very good, like the Australian people, because like I said, I've been overseas, like to the Middle East, even to America. You know, people talk about America, coffee.
Starbucks.
And
Mostly,
but even Starbucks, but what's it called? Just your normal average coffee in America, it doesn't taste good. I'm not having a go at them, but
by all means, have a go at them.
But compared to Aussie coffee, we kill it. We kill it. Honestly, we kill the way. I don't know if it's our baristas, the way we do it here, the air, because you know coffee is all affected by everything. So even like one of the worst places is the Middle East
To have coffee,
like to have like you know some around those like Emirate countries. I tasted them. The only place I really found, and it was probably one of the most expensive coffees I ever tasted in the world, was when I went to Kuwait.
Kuwait, very expensive.
Yeah, but
even Emirates.
Yeah, there was a coffee place. My friend took me there, and they were known for their international coffee variety. And he got me one it was from Brazil.
No.
And honestly, when I tasted it, it was like having a circus in my mouth. like all my taste buds were, you know.
I went to Dubai
Yeah.
last year, and my wife knows I'm a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
7 to 8 cups a day. And then I told her, where can I get good coffee? She said there is Starbucks. I said, I'm not going to drink from Starbucks. I don't like Starbucks. And I went around the 15 dirham, 28 dirham. That's about $8, $9. Can you check how much that is? 15 it's very expensive, and it's not good coffee.
No.
Not good coffee. I really hate it. That's why the other day I was searching online on YouTube. Actually, I found a documentary why Starbucks failed in Australia because of that reason that you just mentioned. That we Australians, we like very good coffee, and if you compare Starbucks with Gloria Jeans, for example, or even Jamaica Blue, Starbucks can't even go head to them, because what they have is mostly water and I don't know some.
It's all a name, Sayed. It's all a name.
Some milk.
Yeah.
But the beans they have is horrible beans.
Sayed, I bring a guy, like I said, from America. He came here. He was giving speeches here. I don't want to mention his name for public liability. But I got him, like you said, I got him a 7-Eleven coffee.
Yeah.
And just for those people that go to 7-Eleven, the secret of it is when you make the coffee, you got to pull it out at the right time.
Yes.
Because you don't want the water at the end, and you don't want it's better to sacrifice a bit of milk and water to keep that taste. And to think that I got him like a $2 coffee, and he drank this, and he goes to me, "This is better than Starbucks."
Yes, of course.
I said, "Of course it is. Of course." I said to him, "Of course it is. $2 I pay for this." I said to him, "Your friend took me, because he knows him. He said, your friend took me to, so and so. I don't even want to mention their names because I said to him, and it was like we paid like $8 American for this, coffee, and it was I actually had the guts to tell him, sorry, with all due respect, your brother had got me a couple of days ago a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, Dunkin' Donuts.
They got it from Dunkin' Donuts. I said, that Dunkin' Donuts coffee tasted better than what you bought me now from this so-called recognized
How much
coffee
was
place.
it? 15 dirham? $10.
Well, the one, are you going back to, the one in Kuwait, how much?
How much was it?
I looked at it. I said his name, I said to my friend Isa, I said, how much is that coffee? He goes to me, it wasn't much. I said, what? How much? He goes to me, it was 4.5 dinar.
4.5. Oof.
4.5, one dinar.
Is about $4.
Yeah, one dinar is about 3.1 American.
Yeah.
So four times 3, that's $12, 12 and a bit dollars American. Convert that to Australian. What the fuck? But I said to him, you know what? It was like, it's something that it was worth it.
It was worth it?
It was worth it.
Really?
I'm telling you, it was very, very, very good. Good. Especially
Even when I went to Dubai Expo 2 years ago, and I went, Dubai Expo, they have different areas for different countries. I went to the part for Australia, and you can see the Australian flag. There was a part in front of, right in front of the entrance, they had Melbourne coffee. From Victoria. Yeah, Melbourne coffee from. And it felt like I was home. I said, just give me a cup. I want a cup right now.
Yeah.
And it felt like, and Melbourne, they have better coffee than Sydney.
Of course.
They have much better than us. And they have these small places, like in the alleys. And
yes,
all that.
yes.
And they have this amazing coffee. I think it's okay with us changing the topic for a
yeah,
bit. Yeah. Anyway, if you're not a coffee drinker, may Allah guide you to the right path, inshallah. But the Sayyid mentioned something very important. And during Shahr Ramadan, we do have the headache. If you are a coffee drinker, what I used to do, and I still do it, that at iftar time, I have coffee. The first thing I have.
First thing, yeah.
And even that doesn't help that much with the headache, but it's better than nothing, So Sayyidina, there's a lot of topics we want to talk about. Our friendship goes back how many years? 50 years, 100 years? We know each other for a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we are dear friends. We always been coming to the events that you invite and I invite. You always are there, mashallah, even though you are much older than me. Much older.
Much older, yeah.
Much older than me. I'm a young man here. Yeah. So Sayed, you recently celebrated your 50th birthday, was it?
Yes, yeah.
So
yes.
Sayed now is 50. Allah yakhalli wa tawil umrah, inshallah. And you have Imam Rida Mosque in Wollongong.
Yep.
Very nice community, very nice shabab. I really love when I come there. I really enjoy coming there, even though the drive is not that, safe sometimes at night. But I love coming there. To see the shabab there at Wollongong and being in that environment, and especially if I see you, that's a bonus point. Sometimes I can't see you because you're doing you're doing some night shift and all that. So Sayyidina, there is a lot of topics we can look around, and I was thinking that we talk about first our community in Australia and the programs we can do for the shabab, for our youth, and what we can do that we can get them to the mosque, to the Husseiniya, because you and I were international speakers as well. We've seen it other places as well. We've seen it in Europe. You've seen it in America. I haven't been to America yet. Inshallah, I go this year.
Inshallah.
So you've seen it outside and you've seen it in Australia. How does it compare Australia to United States, to other places?
Well, basically, from my experience, I find that the same problems that we come across here in Australia, in trying to encourage the youth to come to these houses of wisdom and knowledge and enlightenment. They have the same problems as us. I found that every issue that we have here in the Western, you could say Western countries, they have the same problems. Like I know I went to one particular center. Again, I don't want to mention the name, and the resident Harlem says to me, like Mathal, they got a big center there. They can see this room here, and he showed me this room. It's like, he goes, we get 1,000 people here, 1,000 people in Muharram, and even in Shahr Ramadan, at least 500 people a night. He goes to me, do you know? See this whole thing? He goes, do you know how much we get for our normally weekly programs, like for Dua Kumail and for Dua Tawassul, or just an English speech? He goes, we're lucky to get 20 people. And this is, where this is? This is in the heart of the Shia community in Dearborn, Michigan. I said to him, why? He goes to me, that's how they are. It's just like, subhanAllah, it's people have this mentality that because of the holiness of a certain day, that I should make the strive to it, but not take into the fact that every type of event that goes on at a mosque, at a Hussaniyah, at any like a religious center, it's Ahl al-Bayt have told us or encourage us to go to these things. You know, I always say that, you know, imagine we're all working for a company, and that's the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, if you decide what days you want to come, oh, we're having a big event today, and there's going to be like, you know, extra food and, you know, just the environment's more, and then you turn up, and then, you know, on your normal average day, working day, you don't turn up. What's the company going to say about you? What type of loyalty is that? So it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I think why people have deviated from this path, and that's something that me and you definitely know, is that they're probably just fed up, which is wrong. They're fed up of the same type of, you can say, presentation when it comes to a speech. Like the alim comes on a mambar, gives us, you know, the so-called speech or maw'idah, and then just leaves. You know, everything's like really formal.
Formal and traditional.
Yeah, from and traditional. That's good. That's good in terms of matter. But sometimes our youth need more, you know, more active, also encouragement. You can say events like, you know, like the ones that me and you do, the youth nights.
Yes.
You know,
The Sahrat,
the Sahrat and all that stuff. Because that way, someone. I know. So, these are the events that you find that those people that haven't been brought up usually in an environment that's religious, they open up and they say, you know what, this resident Harlem, wow, he's like us. You know, he you know, he opens up, he jokes about. Of course, everything's done in the halal way, but he opens up. He understands things. Wow, you know, he even talks about sports. You know, because this is the mentality of the Sayyid or the Sheikh, especially like I find, and you know yourself better than me, that we only go to the Sayyid for marriage, for talaq, for a majlis. You know, I always say to people, when's the last time someone went to a Sayyid or to a Sheikh and say, Sheikhna, you know, I'm really feeling down spirituality, like one-on-one. What motivation is there? I can and because they are experienced, believe it or not. They are experienced from the ahadith of Ahl al-Bayt and the experiences with the community. They learn, and it's a learning process. And we're still learning. We still learn how to deal, especially with modern day vices like, you know, the social media aspect, you know, the interaction between males and females. It's a challenge. Even going to a shopping center. All these things that they come across on a daily basis, we are trying to say that because the Islamic religion, of course, is perfect, and it's not just based on that spirituality factor, but you've also got the you can say the theory and the ideology of how to be a Muslim when it comes to the way in which you socialize, but in the way that God admires.
So you see it that one of the reasons we don't have that many attendance of the youth, of course, because the elders, they come either way because they grow up in the environment that is very traditional. Go on the minbar, do a half an hour, 45 minutes of lecture, and even the elders, he knows the lecture from A to Z. I remember the other day I was watching a lecture in Middle East, I think it was in Bahrain, and the sheikh on the minbar, he forgot the ayah, and they reminded him.
Yeah.
And then throughout the lecture, he started reciting the last parts, the na'i, the eulogy, and he forgot a couple of it, and they reminded him. And they started reciting with him because they know it by heart. They know it by heart. They know line by line. They know the whole thing. And even there, I looked around because the camera was a bit zoomed out. You can see the audience. There wasn't much of the shabab. It's mostly the elders. So I think it's worldwide, the issue. The Sahrat that you mentioned. Remember the first one we had last year, was it? The first one we had maybe 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago now.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And the Shabab, they asked us, can we bring argila? Can we have a smoke?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. Actually, bring one for me as well. And bring one for the Sayyid.
Yeah.
And we sat down until 3 a.m. We're having, food. We're having a smoke. And we're going...
With the bonfire.
And the bonfire. Yeah. And we're going through questions. The ones they don't come to the mosque for the Dua Tawassul and Kumail and Dua Nudba. They attended the Sahara, and then they later on start coming for the other programs because this one brings them. And then we did the hiking.
Yes, the hiking.
We did the paintball.
Yeah.
And I spoke with my community, but it was really disappointing. I was talking with them in Salatul Jummah. Let's go skydiving, and they said, "No, that's something we don't want to do.
Yeah,
let's go for a skydiving. Do something different.
And come with me, bungee jump then.
Yeah, bungee jumping. Even though some people they're scared of the height, but it's something different. And I always give the example, and you also, I think, you given the example with when it comes to, for example, when it comes to Netflix, it has thousands of programs for every age group, and on top of that, has the different genres.
Yeah.
Okay, today I want to watch comedy. تفضل. I want to watch horror. تفضل. Sci-fi. تفضل. I want to watch fiction. I want to whatever it is. With our centers, we don't have that. That's part one. And there is another part. Tell me if you agree to that. That the person who's running the center is not that much involved in the center.
Yes.
Or with the community. The sheikh or the sayyid, they're just on the speed dial. The Sayyidina, are you available to come to do this program? And ma'as-salama.
That's it. Yeah.
He works 9 to 5, with all due respect. When he comes to the center, he's too tired to run it. He just came from work. He came there, he said, all right, how long is going to be the program? Is going to be half an hour, 45 minutes? خلصنا. Just do it quickly. Small lecture, some dua, and ma'as-salama.
Yeah.
So we all can go home and we are done with it. That's not the right approach. You should be someone who's more involved in this, that gives an idea, that gives some kind of opinions. Okay, let's change it. Let's do some workshops.
Yep.
Let's do this, let's do that. Okay, we have many bonfires and the Saharat for the male. Do one for the females only and get someone who does the females program, not the male. And it shouldn't be mixed.
Yes, yeah.
Halal way, get them to come and do it. So that part of it, that a sheikh and a sayyid are not involved in decision making, I find it to be one of the biggest reasons the youth centers, the Husayniyat, the masajid, they're becoming emptier every day.
Exactly. And I agree with you because once again, I don't want to name any particular, like especially here.
By all means, you can name them. Don't worry.
That's okay. Like I said,
be free.
But I'm saying like in Australia and not just in Australia, in other communities that I've gone overseas, and I've noticed that there's usually one particular alim that he does love to go and mingle and have these saharat with the shabab, but the majority of them have this like real formal manner. I come to the whatever it is, the Husayniyah or to the mosque. I give my speech. There's none of this opening up to the shabab, let them know. Like there's like he should even make himself available. Like, and they actually respect that. Like they're having a sahara at so and so's house, just the shabab. Do you mind if I come? They're not going to say no. But sometimes instead of them like giving you the invitation, invite yourself. Like you go out and let them know that I'm here. I'll lay back and we'll talk about like what's going on, religious stuff, social stuff, worldly stuff.
Uncensored.
Huh?
Uncensored. You can speak about whatever they want to speak about. Ask questions. Most likely they speak about marriage.
Yeah.
The Shabab, they have a lot of concerns and questions about marriage.
Definitely.
Let them speak about marriage. Ahlan wa marhaban.
Yeah.
And we invite ourselves if we have an address.
Yeah, no.
We just go there, take our argila and our smoke there and go.
Yeah, no, but
we attend if they
it's,
take
it's
us.
very, very good, Sayed, because like I said, there's sometimes maybe there's things that they feel that it's very sensitive to open up in front of like people, but when they're shabab, when they're shabab, everyone kind of drops down their guard, but hope in the the permissible way.
Yeah.
And some guy might ask a question, and it's funny because sometimes there's someone in the crowd that probably wanted to ask that question, but and it just happened that this guy had the guts to answer, and then and then he opens up, then he'll open up, and everyone starts opening up and getting more involved, and subhanallah, the next thing you know, you've opened up, a dictionary, an encyclopedia of questions that a lot of people, and even the alim himself can benefit, because sometimes there is something that could happen in the community that the alim doesn't know about. Sheikh, no, Sayyid, did you hear about this? Yeah. And this is what they're saying. Okay, what do you reckon we should do in this situation? Or what's the Islamic point of view of that? So
I remember the first Sahara we did. I don't know if I told you, when we did the Sahara and the Shabab came, and we had a large number, mashallah.
It was massive.
It was massive, more than 200 maybe. It was a massive Sahara. It was in winter.
Yeah.
We had 2 bonfires. We had people coming, food came. We had the smokers day. Everyone set up their own station of smoking and all that. One of the Shabab came to me, sometimes you don't see these people and you don't want to talk to them, or they don't want to talk to you.
Yep.
All tattoos. And I said to him, hello, marhaban. He said, I've never been here. And I live down the road. I said, hello, marhaban, habibi. This is your mosque.
Yeah.
This is not my mosque for you to, to say to you not to come. This is your place. Come whenever you want, be here. And he said, I'm really shocked that you have a program like that. Yeah, you're welcoming us to come. I said, of course. If you don't come, who's going to come? This is your place. You should be here, and you should be the one who does a program here and gives ideas, because we want ideas from you. You should be the one actually leading the Shabab, not a person like me that the Shabab might not listen to. In leadership that brings on the Shabab, of course, you have to also put something here and there Islamic-wise and get them to learn more Islam. Subhanallah, that continued. We did more than 6. We did one in Imam Rada Mosque at your mosque,
we did
and
that,
a lot of Shabab came.
Yes, yeah.
That was a very nice night, even though it was raining and all that, but we had food.
So they had the covers and that,
Yeah, it was beautiful. The Shabab came. That one I enjoy more than a lecture.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I enjoy more than a lecture, to be honest. I want to be there. I want to sit down, speak to them, get to know them. And that actually triggered us for us to go to, more ideas came. Let's do a hiking. And we went to hiking together, me and you and the Shabab. And then we did the paintball, but you were working at the day, I think. We went paintball. Yeah, we went paintball, and it was very good. It was very enjoyable. And then later on, this idea came, a podcast.
Yeah.
How about a podcast? And the people are surrounded by, alhamdulillah, for us to come here, and I'm surrounded by them. I'm fortunate they're all Shabab.
Yeah.
Because the Shabab, they give you more ideas.
They do.
They're more energized, and they give you this kind of, how about this? How about this? I never said no to them. I said, by all means, do it. And they have their own segments now. They started the youth podcast.
Yeah.
And I said, get whoever you want. Alhamdulillah, we have 2 additional members to the team. Yes?
Yeah.
And that's very good, to always get the Shabab to come to these programs. So that part is very important, Sayyidina, that you change the programs every now and then. The centers also have to get some ideas of the Sayyids and the Sheikh, that we don't just continue the traditional way. Traditional way, old school, ala ras wal ain.
Exactly.
It's not that we don't want it or we don't respect it. No, we grow up under the minbar, and the minbar always stands tall, and we look up to it. But you have to change, because you know how life is changing.
I think you might know the hadith better than me, and I'm sure it's from Imam Ali alayhi salam, about, he says about that, don't do with your kids in the manner that you were dealt with.
Yes.
Because everything changes. Everything's, what was good for you back then, back then for us, like, the what's it called, the Paddle Pop ice cream. That was the biggest thing, like, you know, or a Buffalo Bill.
Yes.
But now, like, you know, that's like back then. Like, yeah, but, you know, you give someone now, like, these things, that looks plain.
Yes.
They want, like, you know, they want, like, even though I don't eat it, acai or you know, the some fancy, you know, Magnum or, but I'm saying, like, everything moves in time. Like, what was good for you back then is, you know, back then for me, like,
Everything changed.
I used to get my enjoyment making a billy cart. You know, take a couple of wheels from the pram. If we didn't want, you know, find some poor lady and take her, you know, pram wheels and the skateboard wheels and make a billy cart. And make a billy cart, and that was our big enjoyment. You know, these days, you know, I don't think many people even know what a billy cart is.
No, would you know what that means?
Yeah.
No.
No, see, I'm saying, like, you know, but
No,
that was fun, and, like, you know, and that was like
Sayyidina, we are from the 1800 generation, Habibi. These guys are the new generation.
Yeah, and, you know, you would look at the steepest hill, and, you know, and come down with the billy cart, and the only way of actually controlling it was a rope. A rope that was connected to this piece of wire that had the two wheels, and which way you pull, and the handbrake. We had a handbrake. It wasn't a handbrake. It was actually the brake. Was actually a piece of wood that you hit onto the wheel. So, but these things were made by children.
I used to get injured. I used to fall off and injure, and I used to go up.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding, and I go back up, and I come down again. But yeah, you know, like even with marriage, I had a phone call before I went to the mosque tonight. And this guy was talking to me about the woman he fell in love with.
Yeah.
And he was telling me different scenarios, how to get to this woman. And it was a very nice conversation. And at first he was like trying to convince me to help him. And I said, all right, what do you want me to do? Speak with the father? And he was saying, yeah, speak with the father. And I said, all right, the father, how long you been waiting for the father to be convinced, you know, the father of the girl? Yeah. And he said, it's been since 2021. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And he was going back and forth with me. And I said, how did you find out about this girl? He says, Instagram.
Yeah.
One day she saw one of my pictures. She liked it. Yeah. And then I saw, she's very nice. She's beautiful. I went there, DM'd her, you know, direct messaged her. Hi, salam alaikum, alaikum assalam. What do you do? I'm studying in which university? In this university. Oh, really? I'm actually doing the same thing in that. Who are you? I said, we started to talk with each other on Instagram, and then we fell in love. They fell in love. And then he was going back and forth with me how to get this marriage happening, because he wants a halal way. I said, alhamdulillah, that's good. He wants a halal. By the last, like the very last thing he said to me before Salah, I said, I'm going to pray now. I don't have, inshallah, I'll call you back later. He said, how about if she leaves her father's house and she gets married with me and we just run away? You know,
like in the movies.
Like in the movies, Romeo and Juliet and all that stuff. And I said, okay, are you serious? What do you want from me here? Can she do that Islamically? See the main, the brain that this individual, he's in love with her, and it's emotions, you know, he's talking
about. It's
more
chemistry than.
He loves her and he wants to get to her. And I saw that social media has that effect on you.
Oh, definitely.
Instagram, he sees it there, and you talk to me, I'll talk to you, and how about we meet here or there? Before it was our mothers, you know. Mom, can you find me a girl?
Yeah.
And she goes to the Husseiniya.
Yeah.
It's mostly Husseiniya.
Yeah.
To go to the mosque. She's a good girl. She was reciting today Ziyat Ashura. Do you want her? Okay, Ziyat Ashura is good. That's good. Does she recite nicely? How does she look like? Sometimes we were very shy.
Yeah.
We just put our head down like you're asking your mother. How does she look like? That's the last thing, and we, very shy to ask that question. Now the first thing we ask, how does she look like?
First thing, yeah.
Her eye color, and how tall is she, and her hair and all that. Yeah? These are questions, we don't ask that? Because we see the picture anyway. We see her on the social media.
Remember that, I don't want to get into the story, but the whole story about that guy that, he found that he did something like in a way that it captured this man's attention, that he was pious. He had taqwa, and he goes to him that that he had done something, and the guy goes, "I'm not going to forgive you unless you marry my daughter."
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.
Yes.
And he gets me that she's blind, she doesn't hear, like it's like all these.
And she's mute. She can't
And
talk.
mute, she doesn't
Yeah.
talk, like, and because he was a mu'min,
Yeah.
he says, I'll do it. Like, I have to do it because I'm indebted to you. And then, to cut the story short, when he actually meets her, that he sees that she's the most beautiful girl, and then he goes, I don't understand. And then she goes to me, I'm blind because I don't look
That's haram.
at haram things, I'm dumb because I don't say except what is that is lawful that God permits, like all these like disabilities.
And I don't hear haram.
I don't hear haram. So basically, all the disabilities were things that were when he heard the disabilities, but it was a disability which it was in a positive manner. Like she had all the attributes that you'd want for your partner. Because at the end of the day, you got to think to yourself, this person, whether she looks like, how can I say, like I'm not really much into these with the famous whatever these models these days, but it doesn't matter how beautiful she looks, but she's going to be the mother of your children. Do you want her to instill this outer you can say just intrinsic movement and how to look and how to dress and how to look, while the inside of her is emptiness, there's no faith? Is that what you want to build to yourself, into your children, into your household? So, and it's funny.
And that's the comparison, Sayyid bin Kalamak.
Yeah.
They compare to this woman that she's on social media.
Yeah.
And I told my wife the other day, this woman, one of the women, I don't want to mention her name, and I said, this woman, when she dies and her body starts to decompose, I think the whole thing is plastic, from head to toe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, head to toe, all surgery here, nose here, all until. But the shabab, when they see this individual online, he says, okay, like her, Habibi, like her, exactly. Are you really looking for someone like this woman? That she's not a mother, to be honest. She's just that figure.
But they're fake.
They're fake, exactly. They're fake.
They're just fake. They're not even these days. They're not even mostly because they, like I said, influenced so much by Western, media. It's kind of like they've implemented this mentality of thinking that you have to look like this to be beautiful. Islam says no. Like, I'm not saying that, with all due respect, I'm not saying that there has to be some type of physical attraction, but don't let that be the driving factor. Know that Islam tells you that the real beauty is within you. When Zulaykha, when she said to Yusuf that, look how beautiful you, like I'm attracted to you. Yusuf, and he goes, look at your eyes. Yusuf goes to her, that's the first thing that the maggots are going to eat. He goes, but you smell so beautiful. He goes, come and smell me after a couple of days when I've been in the ground. And then even after she kind of, threatens him that I'm going to punish you. He goes, but whatever you threaten me in this world doesn't compare to nothing to the punishment of the hereafter. But he's saying to her, what you see here, you don't see what real beauty is. Later on, Zulaykha saw the real beauty of him. When she saw the real beauty is within, and then that's why God says, Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minin anfusahum wa amwalhum, that He buys back your nafs. Real beauty inside, like subhanallah, Sayyidina, everything that you find in the world that we find like that is beauty, real beauty, is hidden away from people's eyes. Where do you find diamonds? Yeah, yeah. Where do you find even the lu'lu'? The pearls, not only are they hidden in the ocean, they're hidden inside an oyster. Yet we find them beautiful because we find the value, because we've given it a value. Now, when you give that person a value, then it becomes beauty. So everything, gold, silver, it's all hidden, but it's that person that gives them the value.
So when a person, a young man looking for a spouse, a young man, of course, or a young woman, she's looking for a husband, and vice versa, here and there. This one is looking for a wife, that one is looking for a husband. What do you think they should be looking for?
Hala, we is more than I know myself that the basics that we we look at according to our narrations is that they have taqwa and they have good akhlaq. هلا
why taqwa, Sayyidina?
هلا
Taqwa is piety. Yes?
piety, yeah.
God consciousness.
Yeah, it's God consciousness, because a God conscious lady or a female, first of all, her love, see, even though she's going to love you, but because her love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala oversees that in the relationship, you know that this is someone that's going to have, it's going to bring sanctuary or security within a relationship. She's not going to do anything that goes against the audience or the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, she's going to do everything that's right, that God has ordained. You know, this is someone that you know you can turn your back on, because she has that taqwa, that fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that she has that respect for you. She respects you. She has that knowing that God Almighty has said or informed a lady that is pious, that you know that honor and that dealership between her husband that is of that level, that you know that brings the overall you can say joy. It's actually real joy to a relationship. So you know the taqwa is someone that basically it's just knowing that you have this full-time alarm system on and it's built in within this individual.
It's a foundation.
It is a foundation. For me, it is not for me. Astaghfirullah, I can't just say. But we know that the foundation of every a'mal is taqwa.
No.
So you know, we know that sometimes we refer to wara'a, which is even higher. Like, you know, because if when there's the wara'a, even like when the what's the famous hadith in the month of Shahr Ramadan, when the Prophet tells Imam Ali, what is it, that the best
the best of the a'mal in this month is for you to have wara'.
To have wara', yeah.
Not just for you to be hungry and thirsty.
Exactly.
No, it's a wara'.
It's wara', yes.
And to be away from sin.
Exactly, yeah.
To be away from sin, that's the best of the a'mal. Not to, okay, I'm not eating from this time to that time, but when it comes to iftar time, I'm doing all the sort of haram. So it doesn't apply.
Exactly, yeah.
So you mentioned number one is, of course, God consciousness.
Yeah.
And that it can be the base, that can be the foundation. And then what else?
And of course, on top of it, like the hadith says, أذكر ما يوزن في الميزان يوم القيامة هي حسن الخلق.
حسن الخلق.
Yeah, to have akhlaq, because no matter how religious you are, how religious you are, I don't care how many times you pray Salat al-Layl, or you know, and you're fasting and like that. But what is this? What is this? If you haven't got good morality, because to have that nice ethics and morality and that the equality in your relationship, to understand one another and to treat one another properly according to the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what He's ordained to us, it brings a toxic environment. A toxic environment to the couples themselves, because you know husbands always fighting or snapping, or the ladies always saying doing things that you know are getting the husband or angry, but in a
riled up and getting
but this
pushing the buttons.
But you know yourself, like you know we've had companions that were martyrs, like you know. Like Sa'd ibn Ma'ad, you know, but at the end of the day, he had to go through a bit of a purification in the grave, because he was a bit harsh, according to our narrations, with his family. And what it is, if the couple themselves have good akhlaq, then what it is, it's they have that household later on when they hopefully they have children, they can see the dealings between the mother and father, which then will automatically instill that ethics and morality within the offspring. And we know ourselves, honestly, You ask how many people come to our religion? This I always say, how many people come to our religion on the basis of, mashallah, I came to Islam because they pray 5 times a day. That's probably good. It's very good. Or they fast the month of Shahr Ramadan. Usually, like the Ahlul Bayt, like the Holy Prophet, what attracted that person to the Islamic faith was the ethics, was husn al-khulq. Huh? So
it can be the most beautiful woman in the world, but she has no akhlaq.
No akhlaq.
Would you really marry this woman?
No.
That's a question from the Shabab.
Yeah. Now imagine she's always abusing. Like you're coming from work, the tiredness, and she's abusing you and telling you, you don't take me out. And like I'm saying, like Habibti, with all due respect, I'm going to take you out. But I just did like a 12-hour shift, and like
give us a minute to breathe.
Yeah, give us a minute to breathe. But you can imagine that actually there was a study done to show you again, a study done by the University of Queensland to say, would you want to work with someone? Listen to this. Would you want to work with someone in your company? They did a company study. Would you want to work with someone that is academically very good at his job, yet when he comes to his dealership with you, he's very harsh? Or do you want to work with someone that is not academically that good at his job, but he makes your life at work more comfortable? He's always smiling. He's always giving a helping hand. The study shows they all chose the other person, the one that's more. I remember I worked with a guy. His name's Alan Henning. Like he retired now. He worked nearly 45 years. And Haram, this person, Allah Sa'adu Sarahatan, even though he was Australian, he had 2 abusive children at home. One was an alcoholic, One was an alcoholic, and another was he was just very abusive to his father and mother. And this person, he would open up to me, but when he came to work, the akhlaq I saw on him, I wouldn't trade him for anyone. It's always smiling. Alan, can you do this for me? Sure, Fadel. Like always, everyone. Who would you want to work with? Can I work with Alan today? Like he never bring his troubles to work, even though I know that what used to happen at home. I said to him, what you represent, Alan. I said, I swear, 99% of the Islamic people, the ones that probably pray night and day and that, haven't got what you got. I said
because we lost the way. Most of the people, they have lost the way.
I said to him, I look up to you, Alan, because he knows our faith, and I used to treat him of course in the manner that a true muhabbin of Ahlul Bayt would treat anyone, even though I was his boss. But people like that, and then you have someone else. I don't want to mention the other guy's name because I use this one as if I use the other one, I might get a what you call a defamation act put against the.
Is he still working with you?
No, he's not with work. He worked with me, but the other guy, like so hard to speak to, so like arrogance. The arrogance, like the takabbur, the pride. Like you tell him to do a simple job, and the way he would do. This person came in late for me, I'm going to come in late for them. Like Alan was opposite. Even if that person came late, Alan would still come in on the right time and even earlier. He had the real mentality of idfa billati hiya ahsan. Yeah. So in the work environment, and which I see on a daily basis, and I've seen now for nearly 30 years in the company, that reminds me a lot of the Islamic environment.
No.
That to have these people that just have respect for you, have a bit of akhlaq for you, that listen to you, give you the lending ear, as they say in the Aussie.
And we come from a religion that is based on akhlaq. إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق.
Yep.
إنك لعلى خلق عظيم.
Subhanallah.
Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he had the best of the akhlaq, and yet we have lost our ways here and there. There is a book, Akhlaq wal-Adab al-Islamiyya, that is very thick, very nice.
That thick one, yeah.
Yeah, I used to teach in the Hawza, if you remember, with the John the Martyr Hawza.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful book.
Subhanallah.
And that one, of course, I was telling this to my students at the John the Martyr Hawza, that book, Akhlaq al-Adab al-Islamiyya, is just giving you glimpses. It's not giving you the whole thing.
No.
It's just 2-3 pages talking about, for example, ghiba, backbiting. And it gives you some ayat, then
and a story,
some hadith, and that was it. But if you go in depth about this kind of things, you see Islam is based on good akhlaq, good morals. And it's very hard because what you see today from people, like you mentioned, because he did that, I want to do worse, to teach him a lesson. But for someone to be the opposite of that, even though he did that to me, I'm going to be the one who's, much better with him, with akhlaq wise and all that. Same thing with the husband and wife.
SubhanAllah.
I had an issue with one of the couples, and I was talking to them. We had a consultation. I was talking to the two. Okay, how did it start here and there? And then she said to me, he does this, I will do something that will harm him as well. So they're not working together, they're working against each other. And the casualty is the daughter and the son they had. And if he does this to me, I will give him 10 times worse because I want to teach him a lesson. As she was saying in front of him.
Yeah.
I will teach him a lesson. His mother didn't raise him right, I'm going to raise him right.
Wow.
And the husband looked at me and said, Sayed, you want me to continue my life with her? Now, if I did something wrong, sit down with me like a wife.
Yep.
And let's discuss it like adults. But we started this relationship like teenagers. And that brings us to another thing. The right age for someone to get married. Even though if you look at it, okay, he has akhlaq.
Yeah.
Piety is also there. The beauty, inshallah, is also there. If you find all of them together.
And then you got the triangle of love.
Yeah.
I know, so everything, like the foundation, the triangle of love.
That you have won the lottery,
Yeah.
to be honest. If you find all of them together, you
Yeah.
have akhlaq, she's pious,
Yeah.
she comes from a good family, she is content. She's content. She want to ask for you to do this and buy me a house here, buy me a house there, buy me a car, this one. She's not that woman. You won a lottery, and you should really keep this woman and try your best to live your life the right way. And of course, you follow the footsteps of Imam Ali and Fatima Zahra, salamullah alayha, and Imam Ali and Lady Banin, salamullah alayha. Tomorrow is the martyrdom of Lady Banin. And inshallah, I'll be at Imam Rida Mosque. The example of these two, Lady Banin. Banin, she's Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya. And their marriage was... The result of their marriage is Abu Fadl Abbas. Just that is enough for us to understand the result of this marriage.
But also, like you said, going back on even we sometimes we look towards these fake, very, very fake relationships, like we see it, like with the Hollywood people and all this. But with all due respect, the greatest, I find the greatest ever, and it's a proper, if you want to call it a Romeo and Juliet relationship, like you said, that of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Fatima Zahra, salawatullah salam alayha, and of course Imam Ali, al-Banin, but even the Holy Prophet and Khadija.
Salamullah alayhi.
Huh?
Yes.
SubhanAllah, but people that realize that how beautiful, if you actually sit back and look at the hadith, the way the Prophet say that, the same thing that Imam Ali alayhi salam would say about Fatima, that she never angered me, she never displeased me, and the Prophet says that even what they used to do to me, but as soon as I came to the house of my beloved Khadija alayhi salam, all the ham, all this worry of the dunya would just go off me, because she's a loving wife, she's a comforting wife, she's a supportive wife. That's a very, and this is another thing as well, that you're coming home. You don't want to come home to this, like you said, God forbid, nagging and, and then just on a quick point as well, when you're looking for a partner, brothers and sisters, I know you single out that person, but have a look at that family background. Because remember,
you're marrying the whole family.
You're marrying the whole family.
Yeah.
Some people go to me, شو ذنب هذا الولد, or what's the that person, as they say sometimes, يخرج الطيب من الخبيث. It's true that sometimes that a good person can come out of something bad, and it can be the opposite, that you have a good family and something bad comes out of it. But what I'm saying that very important, that look at the family.
No.
Do you know how many people come to me after and they have like problems? I say, but did you not see it? Did you, like, friends, like, my wife doesn't go with me to the Husseiniyyat. Did you find out before that she used to go to the Husseiniyyat? Yeah? I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't change someone. I am saying that usually to give yourself that bit of a head start, look at it. Look at the family. What do they get up to? Because you're sometimes going to put or tackle on something bigger than you can think.
That's what Imam Ali did with Aqil.
Yeah.
The saying that he asked, the famous saying that he asked Aqil, he said, find me a wife that comes from a tribe that are brave and courageous. They are known to be ولدتها الفحولة من العرب. That she comes from a family that are all brave. They are all warriors.
Exactly.
Why? Because it has effect on her.
Yep.
If she comes from a family that, they're not that. They're the opposite of it. They're scared people. They khasisin, for example, stingy people. She takes that from the father and the mother, and that will have effect on her because she's brought up in this family. I remember once I spoke with one of the ulama, and I wasn't married back then, and the ulama, they always ask, are you married? No, I'm not married. Why? As if we're going to the supermarket. Habibi, there's a whole thing for it. You don't just find someone. And I said, I'm not married, Sayed. And he said, why? I said, well, I haven't found the right person. It's been very hard for me to find the right spouse. And then I spoke to him. I said, what do you suggest? What's your advice? Should she come from a family of ulama, scholars? He said, no. Who told you she has to come from a ulama family?
Yeah.
She can be she coming from a family of business people, the work. That also has benefits because she seen her father have ups and downs. Sometimes he has money, sometimes he doesn't. So she's content. She understands how life works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that ulama. It's because every family is different. Every family is different, and you have to do a whole research. You have to see what that is. That's why he asked Aqil, even though Imam Ali is what? Imam Ali is all-knowing.
Of course, yeah. But this is an advice for us. Like
yes,
ask those who are experienced in the community to help you.
And the reason he asked Aqil, as a side note, was because Aqil knew the families.
Yes, yeah.
He had the knowledge of the families and the tribes, the lineage and all that. And Aqil said, Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, straight. And that's al-Banin, And then the whole marriage happened. And we always give that example. But asking advice from the elders, from the mothers and the fathers, the right advice, and all due respect, sometimes they don't give good advice. You have to be very careful. But the majority of the time, they might give you good advice because the mother sometimes she thinks the mother of the man, the soon-to-be husband of this woman, she might think, oh, my son is better than all the women in the world. He's that. MashaAllah, everyone has to take him up.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound good on the podcast. I was going to say that, that mathal. I was going to say it in Arabic where...
Go on, say it.
No, I can't, man.
Be free, don't worry.
But they say the monkey in the eyes of his mother is like gazelle.
Yes. That's a reality because some mothers, they just... I was in London for Muharram, and a mother came to me and she said, Sayed, I want to sit down with you. We have an issue with this. My daughter-in-law, she's this and that. And I said, where is her mother? She said, no, she's not going to come. I said, I'm not going to talk to you if you don't bring the mother of the girl. I don't want to hear. I don't take one side.
I know.
And the next night, listen to that. The next night, the mother of the daughter came. She said exactly what that mother of the husband said. The mother of the wife. My daughter, she's above the moon.
Of course,
my daughter. I said, listen, see? Both of you, you're going to take your son and your daughter. You're going to say the best of human beings. No one takes responsibility. No, you're not going to say, well, my son is the wrong one. Because when it comes to that, you say, no, my son is 100% the one who always provides. He's the one who's always with good akhlaq. And the same thing with the girl.
I met one person once. I think he knew that his son was a brat. Like whenever there was that was a fight and all that stuff, and one person actually asked him once. He came in and there was an argument between and his son. Like he hit me for. He grabbed his son. Even though I shouldn't hit him, he grabbed his son, and the guy goes, "But how did you know it was your son?" He goes, "Look, I know my son. My son. I know how he is, but."
He gave him a slap. Yeah.
Like I know how he is, but even though he's my son, he's a brat.
Yeah. But that's rare. You don't find that all the time.
No, you don't find it because, like you said, most of them they'll stick up. Even though it's wrong. Like you're implementing also that that I can get away with it in the kids. And going back to what you said about this family thing, because I always get these Pakistanis or Indians that. My mother won't let me marry except a Sayed.
No, that's wrong.
And it's always like I said to them, where do you call yourself Ithna Ashara? She goes, yes. I said to them, how many of our imams, How many of our imams married people that were even bondsmaids,
No.
slaves?
No.
Okay, but some of them come from like Morocco or Sudan or countries all like Nargis as well from Rome. I said to him, I said to him, do you learn this? Do you learn? Is it just
stories?
And I always tell him, with all due respect, God Almighty, خلق الجنة لو كان عبدا حبشيا, that He created heaven, even if he was a black slave of Ethiopia, and he created the fires of hell, لو كان سيدا قرشيا. Even if you don't think because you're gonna have this. Kind of like advantage or prestige because you married a Sayyid. Habib, with all due respect, there is people out there, unfortunate, even from the Qurayshi Sayyid family, they're not all good. There's good and bad in every society.
We have it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The tabbat yada Abi Lahab wa tab. Abu Lahab was the Prophet's uncle.
Yeah.
And he's in hellfire right now.
Exactly.
And you have Bilal al-Habashi, that he was from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
He's in paradise. You have a slave. He was a slave back then. And you have someone who's the uncle of the Prophet. He's in hellfire. Now, that part you mentioned, I dealt with it as well with the community, the Pakistani community. Told me, Sayyid, can you mention that? I said, mention what? That this is haram. You can't get married unless she's I said, what? Who told you this is haram? Where does it say it's haram? And he just looked at me and he said, it's not haram. I said, of course it's not haram. My wife, she's not a Sayyidah. You shouldn't be a Sayyid. It's not there that should be or shouldn't be. Habibi.
My wife's not a Sayyidah.
It doesn't need to be a Sayyidah. No, because he started, giving me this, explanation.
Yeah.
I love that when they do that. They want to explain to you. I said, okay, go on.
Let
me say what you say. He said, because of the blood. It just will fade away, especially Sayyid. And he was like very, how they sometimes some people they get very wild up. And said, especially Sayyid, if the girl is Alawiyya, she's a Sayyidah, and the husband is not, and that's it. The blood just vanishes. The Sayyid blood. I said, who told you this, Habibi? Who said this is right? Who said this is? Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani.
Yes.
Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani, his mother is a Sayyidah, rahmatullah alayha. She was a Sayyidah, she was a Alawiyya.
Yeah.
So he's a Mirza. And his father is a Sheikh.
Yeah.
Who told you this haram? And who gave you this kind of and that is a problem that I always see. And you know how I am. I speak my mind. And I don't fear, I don't care. I just say it. Sometimes people, they don't know about religion and they give you the hukum. Habibi, don't do that. Because you will be asked for everything that you utter.
Exactly.
Why did you utter that? You will be judged for it. You have to be very careful.
Definitely.
For you to come and say this is haram, that's halal, that's haram, that's halal, don't say that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because in those, especially, I've dealt a lot with those people from the Pakistani and Indian, even sometimes in the Afghan. It's a lot of cultural influence. Like they say, like they do things. I go, what do you do that for?
It's cultural.
It's cultural.
Sunnah,
I said, but did Ahl al-Bayt do this? No. So, who are you going to...
Traditions,
and a lot of these traditional things, they enter our religion, and over years and years and years, you know, it's like that story. It's like that story with the, you know, where the daughter sees the mother cutting the tail of the fish every time she puts it in the fry pan.
Yes.
And she goes to him, Mum, what do you do that for? She goes, because I saw my mother do it.
I have no idea. Just because I saw her
and
do
then,
it,
and then she went, she goes, and because the grandmother was alive, she went to see the grandmother. She goes, you know, grandmother, why did you cut the
tail of the fish.
The tail of the fish for? Yeah. She goes, because I saw my grandmother do that. You know? And then she goes to him, but why? She goes,
هذا ما وجدنا عليه
yeah, because back then, she goes to him, because back then the saucepan where we used to fry was small. So to fit it in the saucepan, in the fryer, we had to cut the tail off. But now these days, mashallah, you can get
bigger ones,
big ones and all that. But what happened is the tradition stayed on, and no one questioned it. So someone sometimes has to stop there, especially in these communities, and say, hold on a sec, is this the adab? And this is what Ahl al-Bayt have taught us and the Holy Prophet when it comes to finding partners. Again, look, Khadija, was Khadija from the Sayed family?
No.
Yeah? No. And like, can anyone even compare she's one of the 4 ladies of heaven. We are all indebted. Every single person that calls himself a Muslim is indebted to this lady that was known as the princess of Mecca. And the wealth that she had, Allahu Akbar.
Princess of the Arabian Peninsula.
Of the Arabian Peninsula, yeah.
Or the queen.
Yeah. SubhanAllah. And even before that, she was known as Al-Tahira. You know? So, and that's another thing as well, you know, even though we went off a bit topic about that, you know, that you Muslims, sometimes you are so like strict in terms of your dealings with your females. I said, no, we're not strict at all. I said to him, one of the greatest examples that showed that, and she kept her modesty. That's another thing. As long as she kept her modesty and her taqwa and she's God-fearing, was Khadija. Was anyone more of a merchant and in a way that she dealt with people to the point that the Prophet himself did her rounds at the one stage? The Prophet of God, God's greatest ever creation.
You hear that from the feminist.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely it's going to be heard by the secular feminist. And if you look at what they have, and you know there is more than one group now.
Yeah.
The other day I was reading, I think there is more than 30 groups of the feminists.
Yeah.
And they have lost the path. Now if you go through what they want and what they're asking for is just total nonsense. The first one that was established was about women voting.
Yeah.
Woman has the right to own the land. Woman has the right to be educated, go to school. And there was other couple of things that if you read, okay, yeah, she has. But Islam from day one addressed all of that.
All of them.
All of that. Woman has the right to own a land. Lady Fatima al-Zahra, she owned the land of Falak. Yeah. Lady al-Mu'mineen Khadija, like you mentioned, she was not just a merchant. The merchants, they used to come to her and ask her for money. For a loan.
So she's like a bank.
Like a bank, and she was known as the princess of the Arabian Peninsula.
Maybe the guys can Google. I'm sure it was in the when it wasn't long ago. Only more than 50, 60 years ago was voting allowed in England for women.
Yeah, you can put it on the screen.
You can check it up and that you know.
Education, Sayyidina, education.
Yeah.
Lady Fatima Zahra should teach the woman in
inheritance as well, like
inheritance.
Muslims, like you know, the Holy Prophet gave the right that women get in you know this inheritance, but you know, so no, mashallah, when we look into really not this fake doctrine that the Western media has put out, that you know we oppress our women and women haven't got the rights. I don't know. Women get to vote. When was it? When is it?
So they start voting Representation of the People Act.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
No, not that long ago. When they talk about women's rights, it's mostly about abortion, about her changing her gender.
Yeah.
So that was a whole nonsense.
I think it was like in the 1960s or something like that. But I'm saying it wasn't long ago. But Islam
From day one.
From day one.
From day one, and it's all about hijab.
Yeah.
Why? Because you have hijab on their heads. No, actually, hijab, when it comes to scarf and hijab, it's you dealing with hijab as you deal with a piece of diamond. If you go to Willie's right now, would you have a piece of diamond there?
No.
You enter Willie's, you see fruits everywhere. It's opened up. You can take, fruits. You buy grocery and you get out. But if you want to buy a diamond, you go to this specialized place in the city. It's all locked up, and you know who's running it.
Like they always do. Yeah.
Yeah, they always do. And then you wait. They open this security door, and they enter. I want to, God knows how many carats of diamond, and they give it to you, and it's very expensive, and you have to really know what you're buying. For us, that's how we would treat our women. We're not treating them as groceries, habibi.
Right.
And if you don't like it, like we say in Arabic, اضرب راسك بالحائط.
Yeah, exactly.
We are 1.8 billion Muslims. If we're going to continue justifying our acts, look at what the West is doing today. Tell me a Western country that is 100% safe for women to get out of her house 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
No way.
No.
Yeah.
Islamic countries, I don't want to mention some of the names, but a woman can get out 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. She can go out, and she's free to go around. No rape, no abuse. No one talks to her. She has all the right to go. And now someone comes and say, "How about Saudi Arabia?" And the woman has no right to drive. And Habibi, really? Are you really coming bringing that anyway? They can now drive anyway.
Yeah, they can drive, and plus they're probably more modernized than any other.
In other nations, it's about an equal pay.
Yeah,
that was one of the things they were asking for. Yeah. Equal pay of a woman in the workplace. Female working with male, she should be equally paid. Actually, in our school, Imam Ali College. And I might say that I might get in trouble, but the female teachers, they get more paid than the male staff.
Yeah,
because I don't look at the gender. I look at what she's doing.
Yeah,
she's working harder than the male, and I see harder. She's doing all of that, and based on that,
that should be right.
Yeah, and a woman, she's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a Lady Fatima al-Zahra. Lady Fatima al-Zahra, she's the Hujjah of the Imams.
Exactly, yeah.
Imam Hassan Askari says that we are the Hujjah on the Khalq, and Ummuna Fatima Hujjatun alayna.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And Imam al-Mahdi says that Ummi Fatima qudwatun ilay, or uswatun ilay.
Uswatun hasan,
Uswatun hasanatun ilay, that I follow her path. She's my role model. Lady Fatima al-Zahra, salamullah alayha. Lady Zainab, salamullah alayha. Lady Zainab, the mountain of patience. And other things. Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. That I didn't see anything but beauty.
I reckon, subhanallah, it just fascinates me, especially talk about these great women, and Fatima al-Zahra, salawatullah salam, even, but Lady Zainab, I still don't think we can fathom the power. The power that was instilled. I know. Of course, it was her love and her faith and her iman, and that was the driving force. But for a psychologist, even for university professors, to sit back and dissect what this lady went through, and was able to withstand the oppression and what befell upon them,
and be steadfast,
and to give those and to give words. I've always said words will always retain their power. She didn't have any weapons. Her weapon was her faith that came out like the arrows of justice through her blessed mouth. When people say that, we thought that Ali bin Abi Talib was speaking again, Subhanallah.
Yeah,
subhanallah.
the narrator says, I heard her speech in Kufa.
Yeah.
As if Ali was reciting her ears, and she was saying what Ali was saying.
Allahu Akbar.
The eloquency of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the eloquency of her mother, Fatima Zahra, khutbah al-Fadakiyya. And I always say to my students in the school, I say, if you put khutbah al-Fadakiyya next to the khutbah she delivered in Sham and in Kufa, if you put them next to each other, you see mother and daughter. And if you just change the name, and you know, even the khutbah Fadakiyya is narrated by her.
Yes, it was. If it wasn't for her, it would have been lost.
Salamullah.
Salamullah alayha. We have great, like, you know, sometimes I even debate with some, like, in a good way with the Christians, because a lot of them don't know the you know, how this respect and love we have for these divine ladies. I said, like, most of them don't even know that a whole chapter is based on the Virgin Mary.
Salamullah.
Yeah. Like, you know, I said to them, we the respect and the love that we have, that there's also another one that's part of the 4 women of heaven, is this, you know, Maryam, Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam. And it's subhanAllah, every single time she is mentioned in the Quran, most of the time it's you know, it's always Maryam, the or Isa ibn Maryam. So Isa, who's Ruh Allah, one of the Ulu A'zam prophets, is always mentioned in link with his mother.
Yes.
And subhanAllah, like this lady that, you know, that we gave her, like the Quran gave her this beautiful attribute, a whole chapter 19, that is named of her. She's named in the Quran more than any other lady by name, and we show you that we honor her, and those people that you go to all the churches in the world, and they got a statue of the Virgin Mary, and I said to them, how many statues? I was having to one person. I said, how many statues do you find of the Virgin Mary without a hijab on? Honestly, I said to him, who looks more like the Virgin Mary? I said to him, who you call this beautiful, honorable lady, the mother of Jesus, who looks more like our women, or your women, who you know, who I don't know what these days that they're wearing. So does that more look respected to you than
the chastity, the modesty,
modesty? Look at it, and that's a statue. That is a statue of her, because you know deep down inside that is beautiful. I said to him, going back years ago, Christianity, Judaism. I said to him, could you even walk in the church? Could you go to a church without wearing? The lady had to wear hijab, had to cover herself. What's that telling you? How did you go from this? I said to him, how did you go from that? How did the women go from that beautiful looking statue or representation of Mary? So I know that Mary, alayhi salam, would have been even much more beautiful than that, and much more modest than that. I don't reckon you wouldn't even seen her face. But how did you go to that, from that to what you represent now when you see the in terms of your Christianity faith? And that's why we put an emphasis that we remember the sacrifices of what Fatima Zahra salawatullah salam alayha and Lady Zainab and these brilliant, to know those people, or especially to the sisters that you call yourselves lovers of Ahlul Bayt or followers of Ahlul Bayt, have a bit of bravery and respect when it comes to that of your hijab.
No.
Be modest. Be beautiful in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not be worried about that of everyone, or like, you know, it's stuck for these days. It's more like the hijab mixed with the you know, I don't know, some famous women outfits, but it's like a mixture, like a, you know, I'm still wearing a hijab, but you know I've got this tight fitted costume on,
and a whole makeup on the face.
Makeup, you know, that looks like, you know, Krusty the Clown from you know, Krusty the Clown from, I think, from the, what was it, The Simpsons?
That wasn't that the
Krusty the Clown? Yeah.
He had the burger joints and all that.
Yeah,
Krusty.
Had the show.
Yes.
He had that stupid laugh.
Yeah, that's not hijab, is it?
No.
With that outfit and the makeup and the tight the whole thing. Yeah, that's not hijab. That's not the right hijab. That is hijab is what you conceal your beauty, not to show it more. That I'm wearing hijab now, I'm more beautiful because it's not because I can put more makeup on my face. The eyes are popping up, the face, and the whole lips and the whole thing. That's not the right hijab. That's not. If you think that's a hijab, you're delusional. And I always say that to my class, and in my lectures I say it. And some people that don't like it, well, we don't like it, don't like it. This is how Islam interprets hijab. Hijab is to conceal your beauty.
Beauty, yeah.
And if you're married, you should be considered more because you are for a husband that is your husband, that is the father of your children. You should be showing your beauty to your husband, not to come outside to the streets, to the world, and then saying, okay, you know what, I'm showing my beauty to them. I don't want to be looked at as this old woman or this, mother that she's in her, last days of her prime. No, that's not the right beauty. That's not the right beauty. You're not doing that. You're actually doing exactly what Allah doesn't want you to do. That's exactly going against Allah. Because hijab is that, to conceal it from these people.
But also, I often saying about on your wording, like, it's funny because, that's how some women deal with themselves. Yet the logical human being conceals when he finds something valuable, he conceals it. Like where do you put most of your where's your most of your money in?
In a vault.
In a vault.
I don't have a vault.
I know.
I'm just
but
saying.
I'm saying like even like for those people, if they still carry wallets,
yes,
you put away.
And your money is in a bank. It's in a bank. It's in a vault.
Anything that you consider precious.
That's right.
It's always hidden away for because the value of it, and it's brought forth when in the right manner. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So and like we mentioned before, everything that humans consider beautiful, it has naturally a hijab on. Even when it comes to the things that we eat, fruit and all that stuff, we know that the best part of it is inside.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things out there that you open up to get the beauty of what's inside of it.
That's right.
So there's a shawl, there's a hijab.
We did mention Sayyidina the woman's, but sometimes it's the man's fault.
100%.
Yeah, because the husband might tell her, "Why didn't you have makeup on when you're going out?" And that's something that the man also has to understand. Well, we live in a Western country. I don't want her to be with that kind of a hijab. She has to be more modernized hijab, the Western stamped and approved hijab. Who told you this? And I hear this from some of the ladies. She says to me, "I want to wear a hijab, proper hijab of Fatima Zahra," and he says to me, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
He said, "Why are you doing this?" Because people will stare at you because of that hijab you wearing, the chadar, the abaa, and you don't have any makeup on. You have this, a right hijab. That is beautiful in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the husband or the father or the brother, they push her to have this kind of a wrong hijab. This lady came to me a while ago. She was crying. And she said, "Sayyid, wallah, I want to wear the hijab. That it's right." And I know Lady Fatima Zahra looks at my a'mal. I know Lady Zainab looks at it. I am a Shia. I'm a follower of Ahl al-Bayt. But my husband fights with me, screams at me that don't do that. You should be having makeup on. You should, loosen this tight, kind of hold to the hijab that is from the 80s, from the 70s, from 1,400 years ago. Islam is done. No, it's still what you look at is still relatable to what we have today. It's still what we see today. It's needed by us. And yes, Fatima Zahra, her life, even though it's 1,400 years ago, it's connected what we have today, and we need that.
Yep.
You need to go back to the old fashion. Old school, that some people call it, old is gold.
Yeah, old is gold.
You have to go. Now, how much of the movies you see? The other day I was telling this example of Hollywood. Hollywood is based on nudity, violence, and what else was it? There was another one. But the ones I can remember was nudity and violence. If you watch a movie today and there's no nudity or violence, no one wants to watch it. There has to be nudity and violence. The more, the better. So if you have a 18 above or R-rated, everyone wants to watch it.
Yeah.
But if you have a PG-13 or something like that for the children and all that, a movie, you know, are we talking about a blockbuster movie? Some people, they say, I don't want to, I want nudity, I want violence. And there was, I think, drugs or something. There was another one.
Probably, yeah.
They based on this. They actually, Hollywood is based on these things for them to make it more attractive for you and I to watch it.
Yeah,
and for the people to consume this kind
and
of
to
nonsense.
normalize it.
Normalizing it, yeah, exactly.
Normalize that. This is okay. This is the world we live in. You know, it's okay.
And the mother, of course, Sayyidina, if the mother is not practicing the right hijab, what's going to happen to the daughter?
100%, you know.
She looks at the mother. Okay, my mother is not wearing the right hijab. What should I wear the right hijab?
Exactly, yeah.
We had a girl at the school, and it was Hafrat al-Taklif. We do these programs in our school. Wiladat Fatima Zahra.
Yeah.
We get them hijab, and we say, all right, everyone who wants to wear hijab at that age, that 9 or 12, it depends on how the female is. She wears a hijab, and one of the girls, she came to me and she said, I want to wear a hijab, but my mother doesn't wear hijab. What should I do? She was about 8 years and a couple of months. She was very close to 9. And I said to her, what do you want to do? It's not me telling you what to do. What do you like to do? She said, I want to wear a hijab like Fatima Zahra.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Someone that age. And she wore the hijab, and she surprised her mother, and her mother hugged her. No hijab. The mother doesn't wear hijab. She hugged her, she kissed her. In a matter of a month, Sayyid, that was a miracle that I saw the mother wearing hijab.
Subhanallah.
She said, my mother, the mother of this daughter, she said, my mother, her grandmother, tried with me to wear hijab. I never applied. I never listened to her.
Subhanallah.
And my daughter, she said to me, Mom, I'm much younger than you. I'm wearing hijab. Why don't you wear hijab? She said, Mom, I'm working and the hijab shouldn't be applied and the hair should be done. She said, no, Allah will provide. That's what she said. 9-year-old.
Yeah, 9-year-old. Subhanallah.
Yes. So there was a question, Sayyidina, there we got off topic.
Yeah.
And there was the age of a person who's getting married.
Yeah.
What age do you think is the right age? Because when you asked Shabab today, why you not married? He said, I'm not set. I'm not set up. Or I'm still young. I want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Even though I told your son, Ahmad, enjoy life.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, I told him, go, travel, enjoy life. Don't rush into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people, you tell them, don't rush into it. But what is the right age you think is the right age?
Look, it's a very like difficult, and you can't say really precise. You can't really just, you can say pinpoint it down to one particular, you can say age. I think a lot of things come into practice, like, but what I think, and astaghfirullah from what I think, but from what I've seen, these traditions that come out that I have to be financially set is wrong. If a person, whether it be male or female, if they want to get away or stay away from that, and they, because there's a stage in your life you're going to get a lot of hormone movement in your body, especially for the opposite gender. So if this means that they, from them doing or staying away from something that's haram or not permissible, then the parents themselves, even if they were to get married and live for the like temporary time being in a like in a residence or residential place where it could be shared. But what I'm trying to say is that if two individuals, I honestly believe the younger the better. I honestly believe
if they mature enough.
Exactly.
Nafjin we say.
Exactly. Yeah. Because these days, that's another point. Very good point, Sayed. That I find that in today's age, you don't find that maturity. It takes a lot of time for the aspect. It's not like when we years ago when we go back into Lebanon or any of the Arab states, you find, mashallah, the 9-year-old and a 10-year-old girl, the way the way her thinking is and her talking, very mature, very mature.
Right.
Unlike here, it takes a while for them to mature, because I think it has to do a lot with society as well.
That's right.
Because the way society also has kind of like strangled that nourishment of how a lady or a female can have this way of thinking. And the way it's basically what it is. You're in a society today where they're doing the thinking for you. They're doing the thinking for them. No. Even if you come up with an idea, no. This is what so and so said on social media. This is what we should follow here. And and like you said, it's not in that you're encouraging it, but come on, there's a world out there you have to go and live and see and
I think it's case to case. Sometimes I see them, okay, go travel a bit.
Yeah.
Look at the world, what's happening. You're not mature enough. Ma knowledge, we say.
Yeah.
Because why you're getting married? That's a question I ask a lot of my the shabab when they come to me and they talk about marriage. I say, why do you want to get married? That should be a question we should ask.
Yeah. So
why do you want to get married? He says to you, because I want sex.
Yeah.
That's on his mind.
Yeah.
I want that intimacy. All right, that intimacy is part of it. But later on, there's responsibilities. You have to provide.
Yes.
It's going to be mortgage. It's going to be rent. You have to feed the woman. There's responsibilities. There's a huquq, the rights of the woman that you have to abide to. Okay, we're going to get married and then it's all going to be honeymoon. No. Honeymoon phase is 1 month or 2 months. You know how it is. Yeah. And after that, honey becomes vinegar. Some people, even in the honeymoon time, they can't handle it because they don't know how to react. It's not just about you going to 5-star hotels, vacation, to Palm Islands or this island or that island and moving around, doing ziyarat. And all right, that's very good. You're going on a holiday, you're doing a whole, travel from one place to another. You're having this great time with her. But when you come to reality, you see that you have to pay bills, you have to provide, you have tomorrow a child coming to this earth. You have to be mature. When you're not mature enough, you haven't done your homework right, you haven't read one book about marriage, you haven't listened to one lecture about marriage.
Yes, yeah.
You find yourself lost. And then say, how can I get out of this? Mom, Dad, come and help me.
Yeah.
If they can't help, call the Sayyid, call the Sheikh.
Yeah.
And speak with them and see what he can do for you. Just 2 days ago, a woman called me. She said, I want to get divorced from my husband. He cheated on me. I get a lot of phone calls. I imagine you do the same. You get the same phone calls from mothers or the wife. Mostly is the wives.
The wives, yeah.
And she's the madluma. She's not always the madluma. You have to look at both.
Yeah,
both
of course.
sides. You can't just take one story and say, okay, it's one direct and that's it. No. And why? Because this one. He cheated on me and fulan, a whole story. I said to her, I need to speak to him as well. No, just get us divorced. I said, it doesn't work like that. What? It doesn't work like that. I have to see him. I have to sit down with him, both of you in the same room.
Yeah.
He tells his side of the story. You're going to be quiet. And then when he's finished, you tell your side of the story. And then we go back and forth. And then I can help you with that. Advice, like we had the other day, our dear friend Sheikh Muhammad, and he said, advice is for free, but consultation is going to cost you money.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and he's right. Advice is for free on the phone call. Yeah, I'm going to give you advice for free. But if it's consultation, you're going to come and take 2-3 hours of my life, I'm going to charge you.
Yeah.
And the same thing with these people. I'm going to charge. The majority of these people, when I saw the problems, I said they're not mature.
Subhanallah, yeah.
Yeah, they got them married. Why? Because I saw her, she was working in a restaurant, car wash, here and there, or on social media. I fell in love with her. Okay. You fell in love with what exactly? Did you speak with her personality? No, with the face.
Yeah.
With the body that she's moving here and there.
Yes, yeah.
And then I felt like, okay, intimacy, it's there. I want to get married. And we're going to have a good life, inshallah. Okay, they got married because you have no idea what's happening later on after the honeymoon, and you don't know your responsibility, and she doesn't know her responsibility. You're getting married to this man, you have responsibilities. حق الزوج وحق الزوجة.
Definitely.
You come to a point, I want to get a divorce. As if divorce is just right there and it just applies. There are conditions. There are conditions out there. And with the people that come to me, I make it harder on them in a matter of I drag it a bit. because I want them to come to their senses.
And,
If it's talaq al-khul'i, well, it's, yeah.
SubhanAllah, no, what you said just quickly about, and it's, it's really a shame that in our community that the rise in divorce has risen a lot.
Yes.
And what you brought up now is because the marriage came together on the wrong principles. And that's why you said, going back to that, what you pointed out, that the maturity factor has a very, very important point between the both, like between both the male and the female. There's a lot of factors like we can point out, single point, like the actual kind of like drill deep down into, but to find how I can point it out is like you reached on it as well. But when I was at high school, and my teacher saw me on the Year 12 last day. It was like the Year 12 mark-up day, and he saw me, and like I was all happy, and I won't forget this advice. And he came to me, he goes, "Oh, Mr. El Sayed, you're very happy." I said, "Yeah, no more school." And he goes to me, "Mr. El Sayed, you don't know what's out there, mate." I said, "What's this guy talking about, man? There's out there, there's a world, freedom, But like you said, but not like going out there into the real world, finding a job, having responsibility. You can't always, you're still at home now. For those people lucky enough to have mothers and fathers, your mother and father were making up your lunches, and when you go into work and coming back, cleaning up your washing, you're doing up even your bed, even though you should be doing your own bed up. So all these things. So when you want to marry, all these things now are going to be transferred onto you. You have to find financial as well as a roof over the head. You got to provide this. You're going to go, there's a lot of situation, bills, all these factors. Yes, 100% Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَمَنْ يَتَّقُ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا.
Allah will provide, definitely, but you have to do your part.
But you have to put you got to put your effort in. Like,
right.
It's like tawakkalna ala Allah. Yeah, tawakkul is good, but God has also said that you also got to tie the rope of the camel as well. So that guy come and said, when the Prophet seen him, he comes to the mosque and he just left the camel and goes, the Prophet goes, why'd you leave the camel for? He goes, tawakkal ala Allah. I said, yeah, but the tawakkal, but God's giving you a haqqal.
Yes, you have to do.
You still got to use your brains, tie the camel at least. So we do tawakkul, we have taqwa, hopefully like that, and put our trust in God Almighty. But it all comes to you.
That's right.
Comes to you. So it's a very hard question, Sayed, now, because I see now in our community, especially like living in Wollongong, there's mashallah, there's people that I know. I'm not saying because I deal with them. I know they're very, very pious girls. And unlike other girls who are showing themselves on social media and that, these girls, the only way they're going to get, the only way someone's going to even find out about them if the parents introduce them to someone, because they don't display themselves. They're not they're not having your catalog specials, the companies and that. Like, what's on special this week? Check out this girl. It's not like that. That's not how you want. If anyone usually starts their relationship like that, I guaranteed, because that relationship is only built on the physical appearance, it leads to divorce.
That's right.
Yeah. Because it wasn't built on the stuff that we talked about at the start of the lesson, about having taqwa, about having a good akhlaq, about having religion. Religion, the foundation of your marriage is based on religion.
And just to highlight this, Sayed, Kalamak, religion is relevant today. It's not something from the old time and old age that has nothing to do with you today. Because I live in 21st century, I am more modernized today. I have the computer screens or whatever. No, Habibi, actually we need religion more than ever. today because we have more diseases than before.
Yep.
Now we have the screens that it's a big disease with the screens, with the social media, the different platforms. It's a big disease. Before we didn't have that. If you were trying to get some kind of news from your neighbor or your family members, you remember those days with the
of course,
the phones and getting a phone. Or for some ladies, they used to go to the second story of the houses, look down from the windows. What did they get today from furnitures and all that? No, today it's on Instagram. It's on Snapchat. It's on X. It's on, what else is there? Other
TikTok.
ones. TikTok. Oh, TikTok, Facebook. MashaAllah. And if you don't feed your soul with the right things, you're feeding it with this,
Nonsense.
the more toxic it gets, the harder you can. And that kind of, that brings us back to the programs, the weekly programs at the mosque and the Husainiyat. There are a lot of people that don't show up. That is when you have this soul needing for you to feed it, and you're not feeding it. But yet you're having your breakfast and lunch and dinner every day. You're having the snacks every day. It's very important you have that.
That's the physical stuff.
And if you don't have, you think, oh, today I didn't have lunch. Let me go have something to eat now. As if you missed out on something major. But when it comes to salah, so what? When it comes to dua comment, oh, so what? Dua tawassul, so what? With dua not bad, so what? No, it's not so what, Habibi. You're missing out and your soul needs that taghdiyah, needs that nourishment.
It does.
And you're not giving it.
No.
And then when you don't do that, you're not getting mature enough. You don't understand the meaning of a marriage. You don't understand the meaning of life. And then when you deep down inside of it, we got married, we paid for this, we paid for that. Now I have a big debt. I remember a young man came to me and said, I spent so much money on my wedding that I'm paying her off in 3 years. I said, what wedding was that? And where was my invitation? He didn't invite me. That much money on one wedding, you're paying it for 3 years? Why? What kind of a nonsense act is that you're paying for a wedding that much? Lady Fatima al-Zahra, Imam Ali's wedding, was that much expensive? Look at the dowry they had. The dowry of Lady Fatima al-Zahra and Imam Ali was 500
dirhams.
Dirham, that is silver coins. Today is $1,500.
And another point that is very important that you made is about the marriage. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When they go forth to have this you can say how best way though. So I'll completely change it. Sorry. It's just like we want to look at ourselves as like someone that wants to get healthy, but he will do like mathal, he'll do the exercise, but he neglects the dietary system.
No.
So someone says to you, but I pray and I fast, like about not going to these not neglecting, not going to these like centers.
No.
But you're doing okay there. But what are you feeding your soul? Like, what are you feeding? You need to, so just like someone looks after their physical and then he'll to do dietary, he'll go places, he'll get this, he'll make sure that I'm following the right ingredients. Habibi, for you to know that you're following the right ingredients as well for your own spiritual soul, you need to attend these places. No. You need to attend them.
Attending, not just looking at online.
So I know that a lot of people say, but it's online. No. With all due respect, you're not going to get the same rewards with someone that the hadith says that someone that walks to the mosque. No. Doesn't say that someone that sits down and watches the mosque. Someone that walks to the mosque, he's going to get the rewards of having so many blessings and so many sins taken away. It's walking. The Quran says, Faddal Allah. God prefers those that do the mujahideen bi amwalihim wa anfusihim over those who sit down. Faddal Allah. He prefers, and God says He prefers you to basically get off your backside. It's funny because you can sit there, and watch like a 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of whatever rubbish is on TV, but you can't have the dignity, and you call yourself a lover of Allah. Sorry, I'm speaking emotionally.
No, say it by all means.
Because our society, in terms of the Aussie factor, have carked it.
That's right. Yeah.
They've carked it. You know, and yourself, someone would come to you and say, Sayyidina, my son or my daughter is going astray. Could you help him? How old is she? Or how old are you? Oh, 16, 17. I've never seen you at the mosque. I've never seen you at the Hussainiyah. You're bringing me the child now where, as they say, the clay has already been formed and molded. Huh? I said, I'm not saying that people don't change, you know, because we believe the hadayah is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. God is the one that gives the hadayah. But God has to see whether that person is deserving of it.
Of course.
Where were you? Where were you as a mother and father? Yeah? Where were you? The Quran says, يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهُ النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Save yourselves and your family. You are going to be accounted for. This child was an amana. Huh?
No.
I don't care. Whether, and this happens in Wollongong, Sayed, that you see yourself, alhamdulillah, we get a lot of the shabab come. But where's your parents? We don't really understand English. That's not an excuse.
Just come there.
For you to be present there, you're telling that son or daughter of yours that I'm making the effort because this is important.
No.
This is important. When your son later on comes, when your son later on gets like a bit thing and starts driving, and you go, Baba, where are you going today? I'm going out with my friends. Go to the mosque. Why you don't go?
افعلوا الخير, he said to Jabir.
Yeah.
He said to Jabir about the day of these days,
Yep.
the days of the last days that we call them Akhir al-Zaman, before the hudur of the Imam, the dhuhur of the Imam. Jabir ibn Abdullah Ansari, he said, what should they do? He said, for the parents, افعلوا الخير, do good and they follow you.
Yeah.
But if the father and the mother, they don't pray, what do you want the son to pray?
It's unbelievable.
You want him to fast? You want him... That's not going to happen. We have the Shabab here, Zak and Hassan. They're regular attendees of the mosque, Imam Mahdi Mosque. They come for Salat al-Maghrib and Isha.
Yeah.
Hassan always comes. And we have Zak coming also for Du'a Nudba, yeah? 5 in the morning we have on Friday. Sayyidina Du'a Nudba, that we have 5 in the morning at Al-Mahdi Mosque. I know it's very early in the morning, but one day of a week, dedicate that for Imam al-Hujjah.
Salamullah.
Salamullah alayhi. One day a week. Now, a person said to me the other day, why don't you make it 7 in the morning? I said, would you come? I said, yeah, I will come. I said, Hajj, listen, 5 is 5.
Yep.
If you want to come, you come 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Don't change the timing. Don't come with this nonsense. And we give a good breakfast, yeah? The whole breakfast, the calculation of it was $100 a week. And we had some issue with some people paying for it. I decided, I said, I'm going to pay from out of pocket. And I'm sure 100% I will be rewarded for that. Not just rewarded, the barakah of that will be coming back to me and to my family. And the other day I was thinking, about 2 weeks ago, I sat down and I was thinking, all right, let me cancel it. You know, at least for this time being, because, you know, some people going overseas. And I went home and my son said to me, I heard today you were saying, Muhammad Mahdi, my son, he said, you're canceling the Anudba. I said, what do you think? Should I cancel it? And he's in year 1. He's about 7, 8. He said to me, why are you canceling it? Is it because of the money for the breakfast? I said, no, it's not because of that. It's because it's too early and all. He said, no, it's because of that. Is it? And he went to his room. He's saving some money to go to ziyarah.
Yeah, it's
yes,
good, mashallah.
20 cents, 10 cents, like that. And he got the money. He said, this is for next week. For someone, Manouj and all that.
Yeah, but barakallah saying that because you've
He
enlisted.
comes to the Donald Bay. You've seen him. Yeah, he's
barakallah fiqh, because you've enlisted that importance of such a dua. Like, you know, many people neglect and to, you know, especially Yom al-Jum'ah, Fridays, like, you know, to recharge, you know, that, you know, we talk about, you know, we have so many Eids every year, but you have a Eid every single week, and that's Friday, to connect with the Imam of your time. You know, this is a beautiful, Fridays, the blessings, you know, and, you know, barakallah what you're doing, because to have that energy, and another thing is very important, which you also pointed out, is that because you're connected yourself to the Imam al-Hujjah alayhi salam, everything's barakah. Everything that we have today, everything that we have now, what we're doing here, is from the barakah of the Imam. The Hujjah has control of everything.
Salam Allah alayhi.
It's just unfortunate that many people, especially so-called, or people that call themselves Shia or lovers of Ahl al-Bayt, have kind of now in a way they idolize, they look up to individuals, fallible individuals, more than putting the effort in for the Imam of the time. There's an Imam out there. And he knows you. He loves you. He wants to connect with you. At least every single day, every single day. If you want to start the day, start with Dua al-Ahd every morning. It's not even long. It's not even long, And the wording with it, أَوْلَ مُخْرُجِي مِنْ قَبْرِي مَعْتَزَرًا كَفَنِي, Sayfi, how to come out. For all this stuff that you're telling the Imam that, and the hadith says that whoever reads it for 40 days straight is like someone that, even if he was to die, that he'll be resurrected and lived with the Imam. So these are something that is very, very important. It's just unfortunate that these people, they're like lost sheep without a shepherd.
No.
And the way to get this like misguidance away from a person is to bring him back to the shepherd, and the shepherd or center that the Ahl al-Bayt have said, رحم الله من أحيا أمرنا, that God's mercy be about the people that remember our teachings, our words. And believe me, and I'm willing to put my reputation online. Any person that does not have a spiritual uplift of some thought or some manner, like the one who attends centers, if they don't have this spiritual uplift, then come and call me a liar. Call me a liar. That if you don't find any benefit by attending either Husaniya or the mosque, you will find there is something different within you. It's not like the Palmolive ad, before there used to be a Palmolive ad, where they say it won't happen overnight, but it will happen. It's going to happen. It eventually happens it's slowly. So we have to, the parents, especially we're talking to the parents, and you yourself, do you call yourself a true lover of Ahl al-Bayt? Then attend the places that Ahl al-Bayt have encouraged you to attend.
Being there, it's very important, and not just being there, being part of it.
Part of it.
And that nonsense that some people they bring and they say, because of that person, I'm not coming because of that person. Who told you this person is the owner of this mosque or this Husayniya? Habibi, if it's truly a mosque, for example, Imam Rada Mosque in Wollongong, who owns Imam Rada Mosque?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So not Sayyid Fadel?
No.
Not Sayyid Ahmad, not Sayyid Fulan, not Hajj Fulan. No. This mosque is Allah's house. This mosque is Imam Rada's house. You come there, you're in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The minute, and the Shabab, if they heard of my Salat al-Jum'ah khutbah, I always mention that I say to the people, the minute I hear that this mosque belongs to Fulan and Fulan, I'm out.
Out of it.
I'm out of it because it has lost its merits. It's not a mosque anymore. It's someone's house. I'm not in someone's house praying.
It's like you just remind me of the story of Bahlul.
With the
tell him about
when he saw
the guy building the mosque.
When he saw the guy building a mosque, and he asked him, he said to him, "This mosque belongs to who?" And the guy said, "It's the house of Allah." It's a house of Allah. How could you ask something like that? This is nonsense. Don't ask these questions. He said, "Really? It's a house of Allah?" Yeah. He said, "Yeah, it's a house of Allah. Baytullah, it's a mosque, it's a masjid." He said, "All right." He sat down and he was watching this guy. He was building the mosque. And then, there was a cut-off time and he left, the guy who was building it. So Bahlul got up, kind of like a board, and he wrote down Masjid Bahlul.
Yeah.
Bahlul's mosque. And he put it on the mosque. That building they were building for it to be a mosque. The next day, this guy came who was the owner of the mosque. He looked up and he saw Masjid Bahlul. "What did you do, man?" He found Bahlul, he brought him up, and he started slapping him and hitting him. He said, why are you hitting me? He said, this mosque doesn't belong to you. He said, what do you mean? He said, it's my mosque. He said, you just told me it's a Bayt of Allah.
Yeah, no.
If it's really a Bayt of Allah, you wouldn't care whose name is going to be there.
On there, yeah.
Yeah, so what if I put my name? But today it's not that. It's my house. It's my building. I paid for it. I contributed. I donated. My name should be there. No. If it's truly the Bayt of Allah, you shouldn't be asking for your name to be there. That's one.
Exactly.
Number two, for that nonsense, and that nonsense, you hear it as well. I'm not coming to the mosque because fulan and fulan. And throughout the years I've been in Al-Mahdi Mosque and in other centers I go around, a lot of people, they disappear sometimes. And you ask them, where are you?
غيبة الصغرى.
غيبة الصغرى. And he says to me, no, nothing. And you know me. I sometimes insist to know. And then they say, oh, this fulan, he asked me for this and that. And I didn't like it. Or he said something I didn't like. So I'm not coming to the mosque because of that person. Really? Is this your excuse? You're not coming to Bayt of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You're not attending this mosque because of this? It's a house of God. You're there. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. You know, I'm praying in the mosque, in the Bayt of Allah. It's different than I'm praying in my house or at the office.
Definitely.
Or I'm praying at anywhere else. It's a house of God. And for us, especially for us, that we don't have any shrines of Imam Hussein, Imam Ali ibn Musa, Salamullah alayhim ajma'een, Jannatul Baqi', Masjid al-Nabawi. We have this mosque. We have Imam Mahdi Mosque. And the Shabab, they know, when you come for Dua Nutbah, on that particular time, it's 5 in the morning, we pray Salat al-Subuh, and then we start with the Ad'iyah. We pray, after Salah, we recite Dua al-Ahad, Dua al-Sabah, Dua Nutbah, and then Ziyarat Ashura. Dua Nutbah, when we recite in Dua Nutbah, and we are in between of it, أين الطالب وبدم المقتول بكربلاء, the sun is rising. The sun is rising. You notice that? The sun is rising when you read that particular one. أين الطالب وبدم المقتول بكربلاء. Sayyidina, the atmosphere at that very time, it's unbelievable. Especially because it's Imam Mahdi Mosque. And you're sitting there and you see the sun rising and the sun shining into the mosque, and you're saying, أين الطالب بدم المقتول بكربلاء, where is the avenger of the killer of Imam al-Hussein? When you're reciting that, you feel this connection. And it's a beautiful connection.
And also, like a very point that you always feel everything that's done in groups.
Yes.
It's just got that subhanallah, that it's got that aroma, that feeling of you can't explain in words. And that's why our religion's always promoting everything in congregational.
We have more than anyone, Jama'ah. Congregational, bringing it together. Salat, we get together. And the thawab of Salat, it's more than if you pray farada.
Yeah.
If you're in Jama'ah, if you're together. And then if it goes more than 10 people, no one can count down how many thawab. Salat al-Jum'ah.
Yeah.
Who has Salat al-Jum'ah every week? On top of the Salat, the Jama'ah, we have Salat al-Jum'ah every Friday. The khutbah, the Salah itself. The Hajj, we are in a group, in millions of people. When it comes to Arba'in procession, we're in a group. Islam it's a religion of socializing. You socialize. It's not just you and God, it's you and your fellow brothers and sisters. And you get to sit down with them, talk to them. And that brings us to this, Sayyidina, Ahsantum, Jazakumullah khaira jaza.
No, thank
Let's
you.
hit 2 hours, if you don't mind. Just make it 2 hours, exactly 2 hours will be, Or we can go for 3 hours.
No,
Jazakallah.
No, thank you very much.
It was very nice to catch up with you again. We have, inshallah, more programs coming. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, this Al-Wasi TV, the podcast, you were our first guest for the first podcast that we did with Hajj Radwan, and it was a beautiful, beautiful one. I think we reached about 4,000 views on your one.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, it's a big numbers. And we've been doing, Alhamdulillah, quite a bit. We are the first, Alhamdulillah, podcast channel and 24/7 channel in Australia. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. There is a lot happening. We need these kind of platforms. The more, the better. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, even the Shabab, they said to me that we want to do our own podcast with our own, guests. I said, why not do your own podcast with your own guests? We have the place, Alhamdulillah. We are fortunate to have something that is close by. It's right in the middle of our area. It's near the mosque, near to our houses. not that much near to your house.
It's
It's a
okay.
bit far.
I'm used to
But
it.
we really appreciate you coming.
No, I appreciate. Thank you very much. والله بوجودكم سيدنا.
نورت الاستوديو.
No, thank you very much. Honestly, it's an honor. Like it's an honor. Like I really give you my blessings, and I'm sure you got the blessings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, especially the Imam Al-Hujjah alayhi salam, that you are doing. First, like you said, the first ever in terms of this podcast, the channel. I really encourage everyone out there to especially the real lovers, inshallah, the real lovers of Ahlul Bayt, to support the channel, and that we're trying to do everything possible to spread the enlightenment of the teachers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So once again, Samahat Sayyid Hassan, the boys of Al-Wasi TV, all these everyone that puts, I know from what I see and what I heard, there's a lot of effort that goes into making such a program successful, and barakallah feekum.
Allah yasalamkum Sayyidina. You are loved by our Shabab. The Shabab, they love you. They love to have you to come to the inshallah, and we look forward for other programs.
Inshallah.
We look forward for Sahrat, not now. It's a bit hot now. Because we want the whole setup outside with the bonfire and the argila and all that. Inshallah, we have that very soon when it comes to the time for inshallah in winter. We have those Saharat and other programs as well.
Say one last point just quickly. It would have been good if we can get a halal pool gathering where we can find but to find a pool where you can accommodate at least 50 guys.
No, there is plenty out there. There is a lot we can do. Alhamdulillah, you mentioned it in your podcast. There is a lot you can do in Australia.
Oh yeah,
we are very fortunate to have so much you can do. Yeah, outdoor, even indoor, outdoor. You can do so much, but it needs the people that are driven to these kind of programs. It needs the support. And the last note: if you're not supporting, please be quiet and just stand aside. With all due respect, support is not always. Some people think, okay, he's talking about support. It might be fun. No. Sharing it, liking the podcast.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, sharing is caring. Yeah. And if there is any financial support, by all means, because, there is a lot that we have to pay for, and we want to continue, and we want to make it full time.
Yes, yeah.
We want to have our own studios, and we want to do our content. Alhamdulillah, so far we have recorded more than 30 podcasts.
MashaAllah.
We have started with the third language. We had Arabic, English, and now we started with Farsi. And we've done a couple of episodes in Farsi as well.
MashaAllah.
So we're doing 3 languages. And that's very good, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. To be part of this movement, especially in this time and age, is very important. And whoever is, inshallah, trying to be part of it or sends us his blessing or her blessing, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, they want this knowledge of Ahlul Bayt to be spread out. And Imam Ali ibn Musa Rada says, علموا الناس محاسن كلامنا يتبعون. And the words of Ahlul Bayt are gold. The words of Ahlul Bayt are diamonds. There is nothing above it.
Exactly.
But it needs different platforms for us to spread it. The more, the better. أحسنتم سيدنا. جزاك الله خير الجزاء. Thank you very much for listening and watching us.
Thank you very
السلام
much.
عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.